Hello everybody, welcome back to a brand new episode of our NASCAR Heat 5 Legends mod here on the channel. I hope you're all having a great day. It's the round of 12 starting at Texas Motor Speedway, the worst racetrack possibly on the planet, as I'm very confident when I say that. As we all know here together, Texas sucks since the repave. As I'm recording this, I think it's actually 6 years to the day, if I'm not mistaken, that they either announced it or they broke ground on it. I can't remember exactly what it was, but either way, it's been a while since we've had this absolute disaster of a racetrack, but nonetheless we are here to race it in this round of 12 down into turn 1 in these Jeff Gordon number 24 Drive to End Hunger 2015 colors on this race car. What a beautiful paint scheme this was here in his final season of NASCAR Cup Series competition, full time at least. Of course, you count 2016 as he did some races for Dale Earnhardt Jr. when he was out with a concussion. But out of turn 4, coming down the front straightaway, crossing the line, it was way off the goal at 29.676. We might have been way off by 0.6, but we still qualify in the top 15 here in Texas. So pretty happy with that. As you can see, the rest of the qualifying order: Bill Elliott starting on pole, Dale Earnhardt there in the top 10. You can see as well, rounding out the top 20, you got Kyle Petty up there, Terry Labonte, our teammate there in P30. At the very bottom of the grid, however, Denny Hamlin starting absolutely horrendous here today, way off of everybody. It's been a very interesting playoff run for Denny Hamlin so far. He has been having a good chunk of speed, but he hasn't quite had the luck. But it doesn't look like he's got anything here today. We will see what he is able to produce and put up on the board as this race goes on. Watch out for Kyle Petty and, of course, pole winner of Bill Elliott now, as we are ready to go racing here from Texas Motor Speedway. Still looking to get our first win in this series as we are officially underway in Texas. We had a very good car in the last episode in Bristol. Just things didn't quite work out because I choked and wrecked myself. That was very fun as we head down into turn 1. Kevin Harvick there on the outside. A very lengthy race here at this 1.5-mile circuit, but you know, usually Texas, as the run goes on, things really get spread out and it's a lot of just running by yourself and not a whole lot happening. So although it might be a pretty lengthy race, it might actually be a pretty calm race and pretty quick episode here now, as we're all over the back of Kyle Busch on the exit of turn 4. So starting P15 up to P12 at the end of lap 1 already, trying to get to the inside of Kyle Busch, and we do make it happen because Keselowski a little bit off the pace here now as we dive down into turn 1. We're already closing in on a top 10 position, but you see there in the top left we have 25 laps of racing here in stage 1, so plenty of time here now as going down this back straightaway. We're going to make it 3 wide into turn 3. Thank you very much, gentlemen. It's going to be a few free positions for myself. It is all about hugging this inside line here in Texas. You can't really make anything else work, you know, no matter how hard you try, unless there's cars on slower tires, older tires in front of you. But we get past Darrell Waltrip on lap 4, but then here comes Dale Jarrett up my inside. He would get clear of myself through 3 and 4. So back down to P8 just as quick as we got up to P7. A little bit loose on the exit of 4. Jimmy Johnson now in that red and white Lowe's machine that he won this race back in 2014 with would get past myself. So up into P7, smoke up ahead here starting lap 6. The caution's going to fly already. It's Kurt Busch crashing to the inside. It looks like a tire failure there for the 2004 Cup Series champion, so nobody is going to come into the pit lane here, so we would all rack it back up here and get ready for some more racing from row number 4 on the outside. 17 laps to go. Johnson on our inside, Waltrip and Ryan Newman just behind us in that number 6. He is, of course, not in this playoff battle, but we'll see what he can do here today. Looking like he's got a decent chunk of speed in this car. It really seems like we have such a diverse field. Like, it's crazy how different the pace is for some of these guys between races now. You really don't know who's going to be fast or slow in any week or any episode now. As you can see, Richard Petty behind us, 3 wide to the outside, actually, of Ryan Newman right there. We're going to cross the line and complete this first lap since the restart. And Petty, he's now gotten to my outside here as we head down into turn 1. So we're 3 wide in the middle with 16 to go in the stage, and I kind of got messed over right here. I just couldn't get the throttle down as much as I would have liked to in this moment. So we're still behind Petty, 3 wide in the middle. He would open up a bit of a gap between himself and I through the middle of 3 and 4. Contact as we're still 3 wide in the middle. Ryan Newman on the outside and myself get together. We save it. Everybody saves it. P10 is where we run currently, but a bit of a messy restart here. Carl Edwards currently out in front in that number 99 Ford Mustang. You're trying to get past now the number 2 of Rusty Wallace. We would get past him. We would get alongside Tony Stewart with 14 to go on the stage and pass him as well. You can see some damage as well on the front end of his car, but we got past him for the 7th spot. But then here comes Ryan Newman again, fighting back up my inside into turn 3, so he takes that 7th spot right back. So back down to 8th place we go, as we were trying to follow Newman up through this field, and as the laps were going on, we were starting to reel in Jimmy Johnson, Kyle Larson, Dale Jarrett, not really Ryan Newman, but we were definitely going to gain some positions here. But there was a bit of a concern. If this stage goes green to the end, we cannot make it on field, so we actually should have pitted under the last caution. Richard Petty currently out in front right now on the exit of turn 2, side by side with the 88 of Dale Jarrett. We clear him through 3 and 4, so we move up now into P6, showcasing that there is certainly some good long run speed in this number 24 Drive to End Hunger Chevrolet Camaro. Jeff Gordon, by the way, always had a history of being really good on the long runs of races, and here we are kind of showcasing exactly that. 5 to go, and we had actually run down Ryan Newman for 4th place, but actually decided to back it down a little bit because my right rear tire was down to 13%. Caution flies with a few laps to go in stage 1. That's actually going to save everybody, including myself here, and allow us to come into the pits and get ready for stage 2 instead of having to pit under green. We were within about a lap and a half of having to come into the pit lane, so very happy that happened there. No repairs on the car or adjustments, so I was very happy with how the car was driving, especially on the long run. We're P5 for the start of stage 2. We've been really strong at the 1.5 miles so far. This is only the 2nd one, but I mean, I guess you could say we've been strong everywhere. In reality, you know, Darlington we were really good. Kansas we were really good. We were side by side with Dale Earnhardt for the race victory at the very ending of that race. In Bristol we were very good as well, choking a win away. So we've at least had our name in the conversation every 3 races that we've done so far in this series for the race victory. Well, we have our name in the conversation for the 4th race in a row. It's going to be hard because Texas is such a challenging track in this game. Was never, I don't think, able to win at Texas in NASCAR Heat 4 career mode, NASCAR Heat 5 career mode even, and if we ever get that 2022-2023 DLC, I'll be interested to see if maybe we can win in that career mode. I really don't know, but nonetheless, clear of Carl Edwards on the exit of turn 4, out of turn 2, but out of turn 4, he got back on my inside, down into turn 1, and passes me again, and actually kind of started to fall down the order here at the beginning of stage 2. We got 28 laps in stage 2. It's a lengthy stage, but Joey Logano at the inside in that AAA machine, he's going to make the pass. Ryan Newman actually decides he's going to go to my outside, catches me a bit off guard there, and it's going to work. He passes us for P5. So down to 6th place, Dale Jarrett a few moments later, up my inside on lap 6, and there's just not much I can really do at this point here. The short run in this car, it's just not there, but what I'm doing is just simply hoping while I'm driving that it's going to stay green for the whole stage, because I know that the longer the stage goes, the quicker I will be, and it was just a matter of time until this car is going to once again start kicking in, but the caution is going to fly. In the background, there's a crash. It's Bill Elliott who qualified on pole who's gone around. Rusty Wallace hits him. Michael Waltrip got a piece of it as well. The caution was out. Nobody again comes into the pit lane, so we would get immediately ready for another restart here from P7. We were back underway, but Bill Elliott, your pole winner, is going to be done early here. 2 cars currently out of the race. Kurt Busch, Bill Elliott, the 97 and the 94. You know, it looked like it was a tire failure possibly on Bill Elliott based off the way that he was spinning there. And you look at Texas in real life in 2022, and we saw so many tire issues there, and all of a sudden NASCAR Heat 5, although it's a Gen 6 car, we're seeing some accuracy here for this racetrack with tire failures now. So I'm sure there's going to be another 7 or 8 before this race actually comes to an end now, as we exit turn 4 down this front straightaway here, trying to hang on and get this long run, these tires worn, to get that going, as Richard Petty is still out in front over Kevin Harvick right now. Carl Edwards there at the inside of Logano. Ryan Newman up in 3rd place, having a great run Ryan Newman is today, but these tires were starting to come into my advantage, and you can see myself up the inside of Joey Logano. We would battle side by side with Logano for a few moments here. Lap 14, we're still side by side in turn 1, and actually it's going to turn out I can't quite beat Logano in this battle quite yet, so we had to wait. Ryan Newman starts falling down the order though. He was P3 down to P4, down to P5, and now he's going to be down to P6 once I am able to complete the pass. But once again, we are going to have to come into the pit lane here for potentially the first green flag pit stops on the day here momentarily now, passing Logano up at a P4, all over the back of Carl Edwards here for P3, but I was kind of just wondering, should I go for the pass? Should I wait to come into the pits? I decided to go for the pass anyways. Make it happen here. Into turn 3. Easy pass. Clear. And now crashing in the background, actually, it's Sterling Marlin in the number 40. Down into turn 1. A big hit there from the 28 of Ricky Rudd as well. The caution is going to fly again. Another potential tire failure. Everybody's going to flood into the pit lane again. This was just within, once again, 2 laps of fuel in the cars. So both times we've had 2 laps of fuel left in the car. The caution has come out and we haven't had to come in for a green flag pit stop. So this restart meant that we were going to have just 4 laps of racing remaining here from Texas in stage 2 before we have the, once again, lengthy third and final stage. Very curious to see how that one's going to go, as it has been a caution rattled race so far. Now as we exit turn 2, we have fresh rubber. That's not actually a good thing for me. I struggle on fresh tires here in Texas, and you were seeing that coming to the to be showcased here, really. Kevin Harvick was out in front. We came through to start the final lap, and I couldn't hang with any of the guys in front of me. Ryan Newman, Joey Logano, Petty, Harvick, they're all out in front and driving away. I'm just trying to defend over Carl Edwards as well as Dale Jarrett here as we exit turn 2 down the spike straightaway for the final time in Texas for stage 2. Down into turn 3, running the inside. This should be safe enough to hold us on to still a pretty respectable result here. P5 in stage 2. Nothing to hang our head low over, but definitely a little bit disappointing because we looked like we had a bare minimum of a 3rd place run going here in stage 2. But nonetheless, we have done a good job today so far picking up stage points and setting ourselves up already very, very well for the rest of this playoff round, which is going to be an interesting one. Now, as you can see, we come into the pit lane again for 4 tires, fill it up with fuel, a few positions swap in front of us, and we're back ready to go green here from P5. And you can see right there on the top left of your screen, 29 laps remaining, so we only have 1 more lap in this stage than we did in stage 2. Harvick leads the way down into turn 1. Logano, Petty, Newman, a good chunk of names there, historic chunk of names, surprise us, or surround us, not surprise us, but Kevin Harvick, of course, 2014 Cup Series champion. Joey Logano, now 2-time champion from 2018, 2022. Petty, well, enough said there, 7-time champion. Ryan Newman, he got a lot of poles, I know that much here as we exit turn 4 down this front straightaway, still side by side with Logano. Newman leads the lap here down into turn 1, continuing side by side with Logano, but look at the just forward momentum he has into the corner. He's probably going to clear us right here on the exit of turn 2. I tried to stay at his quarter panel, got a little bit loose on the exit of turn 2, couldn't quite maintain alongside him, so once again starting to fall down the order. Richard Petty, he's going to get clear. Ryan Newman continues to lead, but it wasn't long until Kevin Harvick would overtake him for the position here as I continue to try and fight with this STP Chevrolet Camaro, but it just wasn't enough. And I don't know what it was about this final stage so far, but it didn't feel like we had quite as much pace that we did in stage 1 on the short run and stage 2. Like, we were falling off in the short runs, don't get me wrong, in stage 1, stage 2, but I felt like I had nothing really to give in this 3rd and final stage, and you can see it here. Look at the gap I had given up to the top 4, and now Carl Edwards is up my inside as we head down into turn 3. He's going to clear myself as well. Dale Jarrett, he's right there as well, ready to pounce on an opportunity to pass me, and well, thankfully we would open up a gap briefly between himself and I, so we would kind of be able to stabilize here in P6, but you can see the gap was massive. I don't know what it was about this final stage, but we just didn't have the pace that we had here. We never allowed a gap like this earlier in the race, so I couldn't really do anything. I'm just kind of hanging in here. We come to 14 laps to go, and of course once again kind of getting closer and closer to that green flag pit stop range. Every time that tire light has come on, it's usually been an indicator of that happening. The caution flies again, probably for a tire failure. Couldn't find this one in the replays, but nonetheless, this is going to bring everybody into the pit lane, and we would take 4 tires and fill it up on field 1 final time. P6, row number 3 on the outside, ready to go green. You see 3 cars in the pit lane, DNF'd out of this race. We're back underway. It's going to be 10 laps of racing here from Texas Motor Speedway. Edwards on our inside. You got Newman, Logano, Petty, and Harvick. They're up in front of us. Kyle Larson just behind myself. Dale Jarrett up my inside here. Larson's going to tuck in behind him and try to follow through. He had a hole to squeeze in between that 88 of Jarrett and the 2 of Brad Keselowski. Now, as we get closer to the back of the 6, but do I force it 3 wide in the middle, or do I just stay put here behind the 6 of Newman? You see, of course, I decided to just kind of stay put here. Remain calm, I guess we could say, on the exit of 4. A little bit loose right there. Larson, though, he's going to get clear, and I tried to get in behind him, but he actually checked up, so I ended up in his right rear, but he would get clear of us. Jimmy Johnson would unfortunately get up my inside as well in turn 3, so that's another position loss right there. Down to P9 we go, as Bobby Labonte was also approaching pretty quickly. But I mentioned earlier, could we be in the conversation for 4 consecutive races to be a part of the mix of the race victory? But the answer is quite obviously no. Now, as we do, though, get past Kyle Larson, briefly look up the inside of the 48 of Jimmy Johnson, but it wasn't long until I would truly be able to get alongside him here. Lap 78 into the corner, and we well passed his 48. So that speed starting to kick in a little bit too late here. Now the caution's going to fly again, though, as we hit 6 laps to go, and that's going to force a late race restart as Cale Yarbrough, he's the one coming into the pit, so it appears that he brought out the caution. Mayfield a lap down, Waltrip out of the race, Elliott and Kurt Busch as well, but now restarting on the inside for a late race restart. It has been a fascinating, caution-filled race, a lot of accidents here, and now it all comes down to just 3 laps of racing. So we are not at a 2-lap situation, we're not in an overtime situation either, so we still got the opportunities for that. There we go, catching Newman off guard, 3 wide up the inside with him and Jarrett down into turn 1. Joey Logano out in front. Can he hold on to the victory here in Texas now? Carl Edwards a little bit slow through the center of 1 and out of turn 2, but he's able to hang on briefly here as we head down this back straight away and into turn 3. He's going to kind of chop my nose there, get down in front of myself. So here we are, 2 laps to go, still behind them up the inside of Richard Petty. Kevin Harvick, though, up the inside of Logano through 3 out of turn 4. He's going to get clear of that 22 machine. Kevin Harvick to the lead as 1 lap remains here from Texas Motor Speedway. P5 still would be a fantastic effort for myself here in Texas. I cannot complain about that, but trying to get P4, maybe even P3 before we complete this final lap. Edwards all the way to the outside, while Newman there trying to kind of catch me off guard and get up my inside like I caught him off guard on the restart, but not enough for Richard Petty, it appears. Down into turn 3, we do briefly get up the inside, but it just couldn't push anymore. It's Kevin Harvick who leads out of turn 4. He's going to come through down the front straightaway to win here in Texas. We're side by side with Carl Edwards, but we hold him off. It's going to be a very, very solid and respectable P4 as you see the rest of the finishing order on your screen. So I am not complaining about P4 whatsoever in Texas. You see Hamlin there, he was so slow today, ends up P30. We take a look at the playoff grid before we wrap things up. Harvick advances. Petty's good by over 30 points. Logano and myself are in pretty good shape. Everybody else, on the other hand, pretty close as we head into Talladega in the next episode. Actually, I forgot, yeah, Hamlin is no longer in the playoffs, actually. There's you see Dale Earnhardt Sr., the one with the most work to do. As always, if you guys enjoyed, you know what to do. I'd like to thank you all for taking the time of your day for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one from Talladega. Have a great day, everybody.